There's this war on Apu right now, the East Indian gentleman who runs the Quickie Mart on The Simpsons. So there's a problem with Apu because that's a stereotype of an Indian.
I mean, look how it's ruining comedy. Everything's being ruined by these really Nazi thought police. Gavin, getting back to that story and then expanding, you had an example, you texted me during the break, of popular culture that is a metaphor for what you're getting into.
Well, yeah, there's this war on Apu right now, the East Indian gentleman who runs the Quickie Mart on The Simpsons. So there's a problem with Apu because that's a stereotype of an Indian. And there's some Indian American comedian who says, you know, I was bullied as a young boy. They would do his accent and they made me feel uncomfortable. And you go, wait a minute. Indian Americans, not American Indians, but the brown ones, dot, not feather, are the most successful ethnic group in America, way over whites. So if you want to talk about privilege in America, then Indian Americans fit the criteria more than white people and a bunch of other races.
Yeah, they're the 1% on average. They're the most successful of the Asian groups who sit 6 deep on top before you even get to whites.
And you go, that's good, by the way. I like that. I like Indians coming in here. They don't steal our jobs. They tend to create new businesses.
By the way, almost all the Indians I know are Trump supporters.
Yes, yes. They're not jihadists. Their religion blends nicely with Christianity. There's no sort of fifth column going on where they refuse to learn our laws or our language. They even get our humor. They even seem to get how to riff properly. So great asset. But stop complaining and whining. Groundskeeper Willie, see my parents, by the way. They're from Scotland. I grew up with an accent, and I was bullied when I emigrated to Canada. And guess what I thought that was? Good, because I was getting in with the guys. I was getting bullied around. We were becoming a group. It was like an initiation into Canada. And within a week, I lost the tam. And I said, hey, how's it going, eh? Oh, Maggie Longclaws is pregnant. And I was right in with the group. It's called assimilation. Get over it, you pussies.
Of course, you can have fat bastard as well if you'd like.
It's a fun accent. I don't think these people understand what we went through in the 70s. You would get an atomic wedgie for having glasses.
Well, that's part of the world, and the idea that some groups can represent you and control all language so you don't get bullied. How about getting bullied by the thought police? Facebook told us, they said, don't even use the word tranny, even in a positive light, or you're just banned. And they're like, that is the God word. And once I don't use that, well, then now I can't use any word. And the truth is, I don't need to preface, I don't care what you're doing sexually. I'm a libertarian. But then I should be able to say whatever I want. I mean, look how it's ruining comedy. Everything's being ruined by these really Nazi thought police.
And they're just throwing darts at a board when they decide who are these coveted groups. Trans? I remember trannies from the 90s. We used to go to this big gay rave called Black and Blue in Montreal because there's tons of chicks around, lots of fags.
Of course, that's where all the hot chicks are.
Yeah, we would prey on these girls who were bored because no one was hitting on them and we didn't have any competition.
It is true that the wildest chicks are fag hags.
I married one. It's great. I highly recommend it. But I remember the trannies would be off in a corner and they were always on Special K or meth and they would vomit on the ground and slip in.
Exactly. Why are they always vomiting?
They would beat your ass, too. If you mess with a tranny, they'd take out their shoes and they would hospitalize you.
Oh, what is it about trannies are always like the toughest dudes?
Yes, yeah, because they got to fight every day with all the lunatics that surround them. We have a lot in common with the old school tranny, come to think of it. We're both hardened brawlers.
And again, everything we just said is true. Everybody knows it who's ever been around. And then, but it's supposedly hateful to say that, you know, it was well known back in the day that if you went to a rave, there'd be a bunch of hot chicks and then you could pick up 3 of them if you wanted to. I mean, I just read that once. I just read that. We'll be right back with Gavin McInnes. Stay with us.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.